Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and welcome back to week 2 of Amethyst Ascension, Rochelle, Amethyst Ascension's Past Lives Club. I could not wait to get home and do this tonight. I was so excited. I've also been nervous trying to figure out what decks to use, and then as I was meditating and kind of getting into that zone, it just kind of came to me what decks to pull and use. And as you can see, I've already pulled the decks. And these are the three. So we're doing identity. We're diving into the questions on identity, time frame, and location. So we're diving into the questions. So the first one is identity. It has 6 cards or 6 questions. This one and this one are 3. So I'm moving these for now. I've already looked at them and read them, and I'm floored. So you guys tell me what you think. So I'm using my Past Lives Tarot, the Character Oracle, which I didn't even think of using until I watched Rochelle's. And then I also decided I wanted to pull a card from my Past Life Oracle deck that's out of print, and the Citadel for identity. Just as these are like overall information on this specific category. So for the Citadel, I brought out the Chromancer, delivering news, collaboration, and I thought that was interesting because it was talking about in my time frame in which we'll see here a little bit. Actually, I think it was time frame. Yeah, the Middle Bronze Age. In the Middle Bronze Age, it talked about it was when alphabetic writing was created, and then there were some other things about written words or propaganda, and I just found that interesting. Here's delivering news, and you're writing at the same. I think those two kind of go hand in hand, so I thought that was interesting. And then I pulled the Love Life card, which, if you watched my previous video, it makes total sense because apparently I was had a sex addiction, something happening, which is interesting. And I think that fit right in. And then the bottom of the deck, I had to show you guys. The bottom of the deck was spirituality and religion. And if you know, you know, because it was basically telling me I was the leader of some kind of cult, spiritual, religious cult, whatever. And I had sex a lot. So I was like, those are fitting. So here we are. Question 1 was, how did I see myself in this life? And I pulled, nope, these are the back. Hold on. I pulled the Traveler and Greece. And the Traveler is seeker of horizons, adventurer, experience, long journey. And if you remember, I did talk about travel quite a bit in my video yesterday that I did for week 1. And it was a maritimer that did traveling a lot. But it also said for the maritimer on the Past Life book that it may not have been necessarily that I was overseas. That maybe it was just that I traveled a lot. And then when I pulled this, it is the 8 of Pentacles, I think. But I looked at it as not even the town. I looked at it as, again, a lover's card. But it's 2 females, it looks like, which I found interesting. And so, yeah, I just found that quite interesting that kind of tied in again together. And then question 2 was, how did my partner see me in this life? And I got repairman, repair, restore, restart, renovate, and then apathy, which I found interesting. If I'm some kind of a ladies' man or guru that is sacrificing children and humans and animals, I may have a long line of female companions behind me. So my partner that's with me may not really, they see me as the Mr. Fix-It, but at the same time, I create apathy for them, which I found Interesting. So then, card 3, how did my family and friends see me? And I kid you not, the lover card fell out. And then poison fell out. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And it did say that in the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle deck, when I pulled out one of the cards in there said I could have suffered from STDs. Apparently I was having that much sex. I don't know. It's very different than this. Very different. So I found that interesting, but it says love, romance, reproduction, infinity. Ooh, reproduction. Maybe I was one of those that felt like they had to procreate constantly, but it was also poison because maybe I had some kind of disease from all the stuff and I was passing it on. Interesting. But I was cracking up because it just, everything is falling into place just like it was. And it all matches what I pulled yesterday. So, number 4 was, how did others see me in this life? And actually 2 fell from this deck. Lost Soul and Learner. And the Lost Soul is seeker of clarity, wanderer, confusion, defeat, and struggle. And I feel like all of those hit on at some point in yesterday's reading, which is interesting. And then we have Learner, seeker of knowledge. See, we have seeker of clarity and seeker of knowledge. And I think those can kind of go hand in hand, right? Inquisitive, progress, aspirant, and explorer. Again, with the explorer, traveler, maritimer, whatever. But that all matches. And then with that, I got conflict. So this is how did others see me? So they saw me as a lost soul or somebody that's always learning. But there's also a conflict. So maybe that's the conflict, is one aspect of me is a lost soul and one part of me is the forever student. Interesting. So that's crazy. 5, how did I use my abilities and talent? Engineer and soldier. I put it to and see again, I get a soldier. And it's funny because when I drew this, soldier fell out with it, and I put it back, and then literally the next deck I pulled the soldier card again. So engineer, architect of solutions, engineering practice, problem solver, complex systems, technology, and this goes kind of hand in hand with the scientist that I pulled from yesterday's stuff as well. So that was crazy. But when I pulled the soldier card, this is actually the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords. Okay. You're in your head. The swords are about the head, the air. I didn't pull this as I'm a soldier for good. I saw this as, if I am in fact some kind of religious cult leader and I'm leading people to their destruction, I'm some kind of soldier of war, I'm a soldier for that specific thing, but not in a good way. And I still don't see any of these things being something in a good way. Like, none of the things I was doing was for the betterment of humanity at all. Despite the fact that I was supposedly a guru, idol, religious leader, spiritual leader, something like that, I don't think I was doing it for the good of mankind. If that makes any sense. And it all seems to point to that. And then the last one is, what was my life purpose? And I got the young card, which she pulled that in hers. It's vitality, innovation, potential, growth. And this is the 16th or 19th century, but it also has the 9 of Pentacles. Now, the 9 of Pentacles is the card of abundance, but I don't see that here. I see someone being taught a lesson by their ancestor, by their father, by their superior. Maybe this is even me teaching, passing on this wisdom. And it could very well be, when I pulled this card, I almost got like a alchemical potion type thing. Did you see that? Something just flew through there. That's how I seen it. Like somebody's trying to recreate the Fountain of Youth or something like that. And I'm like, maybe they were doing things they had no business doing. Like they dove into something deep that they shouldn't have been diving into. That humanity is not supposed to know. And that's why I see young as like the fountain of youth. I immediately thought fountain of youth with this because it's a very, to me, alchemical, wizardy type stuff going on here that doesn't seem right. Again, doesn't feel right. So that was for, oh my gosh, this dog. No. Every 5 minutes she wants out tonight. Hold on a second. Okay. So that was the identity. Okay. So then I pulled from, oh my gosh, my cat stepped on him. There we go. I pulled again, oh my gosh. Once again, I pulled from the Past Life Oracle just to get an overall view of the time frame. No. Yeah, time frame. And I freaking got ships. And if you notice the previous video I did, it came up as a maritimer with ships. And I'm like, seriously? I don't know what else to say about that. That's crazy. So then there's 3 questions on this. For the first question, what was the theme of this time period? I got death and old age. And I kind of heard this is the 8 of Pentacles. Is it 8? I think it's the 3. 3 of Pentacles. But I don't get a teamwork vibe here. But I literally heard a voice say, you know how, when I pulled this card, I literally heard a voice. It sounded like they said, you know how when some people are really, really old, they can smell like death is upon them. And I'm like, what? And that's what I get here. Not necessarily to me that it might have been a community of older, like there's no children around, no young people. It's all, maybe it's a kind of retirement community of sorts of just old people, or maybe people getting rid of the older people. Which killing them off. Wow. To make room for the new. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Because as we know before, and I got the death card here, in the previous, I was party to, or if not the person that was sacrificing humans, adults and children, and the adults could have been the old age. Maybe we were getting rid of the children that were sick or lame, or getting rid of the older people so that the younger middle group could thrive. I don't like this life. What was the major challenges back then? I got the 5 of Cups and disappointment and slavery. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't know that and this is the devil card here. And this is not the only devil card I pull in this whole thing that you're about to see. This was not a good life. This was not a good time period. This was a time period, I think, of sickness, famine, slavery. And it said in the time frame that it was the Middle Bronze Age between 2000 to 1600 BC. And there's another floaty thing that flew just there. It's during a time of alphabetical writing, but the rise of Babylonia and Assyrian civilizations. And I feel like one of those civilizations had a lot of slavery, had a lot of, and that's why they're not around today. Like there's reasons why these cultures, these, civilizations are not around, because something didn't work for them. At some point it stopped working. So I think that's part of it, is that they had slavery. And, of course there's disappointment in the fact that they're slaves, which I found it quite interesting. And I don't know, I just don't like it. 3, what phase of that time was I in? And I got travel again with the 6 of Swords, and the 18th century, and this is the 8 of Wands. But I feel like this is also judgment. So I feel like this is right smack dab in the middle of, and like I felt that way, same way yesterday. I felt like it snap, I can't even say the word, right in the middle of the Babylonian and Assyrian rising and the Sumner as a great power falling. So I'm in that in-between zone where there's a shift in religion and spirituality and just the world in general. And there was a huge shift. And I'm in the middle of that shift, in the middle of that time frame where I'm either, I want to say, riding the coattails of the one going out, or I'm realizing the opportunities with the new powers rising, and I start my own whatever. And it could be one of those civilizations I started. Who knows? But that's what I feel like here. And I've always felt that ever since I started doing this, it's right in the middle of that. If that makes any sense. So that's that. So the last question, or the last one, is location. And I'm using the Wildlands Tarot and the Place Oracle. But I wanted to show you, because I forgot I had this deck till Rochelle showed it. It's the Earth Power Oracle. First of all, I used, again, the Past Lives Oracle, and its freaking Karmic Relationships came out. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm sick of the love and obsessive love and all that, because that's all been part of this. I'm sick of it. Okay. So then this card fell out. Göbekli Tepe. Connecting with my higher power is a timeless act. It is within my DNA. It is a natural and useful part of my life. I thought that was interesting. And I think it's interesting that I don't necessarily think this is where I'm at, but where my civilization lies is in a ruin maybe yet to be discovered. And I think that was very interesting. And then the bottom of the deck, I had to pull this out because it's Svalbard, which is the island above. I actually follow somebody that lives on Svalbard on YouTube, and I love her channel. But it's the island, the northernmost island and the North Pole, just up from Norway and Sweden and Denmark and all those places that it said I was from in the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle, which I found interesting. And this was at the bottom of the deck. And I'm like, what? So it says, Svalbard, both darkness and light are necessary. There is light even in the darkest of nights. I accept that I am part of the cycle of nature. I open myself to new wonders every day. That's quite interesting. And then this was actually left in the box. And I'm like, what? So I don't know where this is, but that's quite interesting. It says, I'm organized and efficient. I weave my spirituality through all aspects of my life. I can be both creative and prosperous. And I feel like that sums up this specific life, that I was famous for something, probably not something great, but it was through spirituality that I was famous for. So I found that quite interesting. So on to the questions before I run out of time. Question 1 was, what was the energy of this place? And I drew from the Wildlands Tarot, the Chariot, which is my soul card. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And then the Sky, which is infinite universe cloud formations. And the reason I pulled the Wildlands Tarot is because it's real places back here amidst the bling you see. So I want to see real quick, Chariot. It is, and it gives you the degrees of the place too. Oh, it's Egypt. Egypt. This is Egypt. So I found that quite interesting. What was the energy of this place? The chariot, fast moving forever, going forward, moving forward. And as we're talking about the rise and fall of different cultures and civilizations at that time, that completely makes sense because the chariot is just moving forward with that. And then infinite universe, to me, that speaks of the religious aspect of it, which I found interesting. Oh, that's these two. Next, we have, how did the people treat each other? And I pulled the freaking devil card again. And I'm like, what? And then I pulled damp and rainy realm, moisture abounds, wet strength, wet serenity, drizzling delight. And if it's in Norway, Sweden, any of them, it's a drizzly, wet place. So that makes sense. So let's see what the devil says here. I'm going to pause you real quick. The devil is Japan and USA on the background. Interesting. Last one is, what was the government like? And I pulled the Lovers again and Coffee House. And you're probably going, what? This is Japan too. I've looked at this one many times because it's probably one of my favorites in there. Look how beautiful back there. I think that's Mount Fiji. Gorgeous, snowy. Coffee house, coffee, tea, artisanal brews, pastry, and indulgence. And to me, that was what the government was like. Not even just the government, the whole society, the whole village, the whole area was all about taking what may not have even been theirs. You know, betting the women. It was more of a very, what I want to say, like a very Conan the Barbarian type area is what I feel like. It was rough and tumble. It was you take what you wanted and left no prisoners, and it was all about indulgence. And that's why it makes sense for the coffee house. And it's funny because I pulled this, threw it back in the deck. I'm like, that makes no sense. And it fell out again. So I'm like, okay. And then I started reading the keywords. I'm like, oh, that does make sense for this overindulgent, oversexed area. And the words kind of whispered through my mind, Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what this feels like. And I'm like, what? That's insane. Insane. But that's what this feels like. It's Sodom and Gomorrah, kind of spiritual, but it's not. It's hedonistic. It's weird. And that's it. When I finished this spread and I was reading these cards, those words whispering through my mind were like the icing on the cake. I'm like, was it Sodom and Gomorrah? I don't even know where Sodom and Gomorrah would be. Are they in Norway, Sweden? Were they in that area? Because I was supposedly in the Northern Europe. And I don't know. I'm just confused now more than ever. I think I have even more questions than ever on all of these spreads. I will tell you that it's the most interesting spread I've ever done. Most in-depth, interesting spread I've ever done. And I will continue to do so for next week. I cannot wait to dive into these again. Thank you, Rochelle, for having this. This has been crazy. And again, if any of you have any questions, comments, concerns, tie-ins I'm not telling you about or seeing, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And you'll have a good night. Bye.